As I was writing the music for the Corrupted Lullaby, I felt that finally we had an opportunity to do a concept album our way. Now, I love concept albums, and to me a good concept album is like the greatest form of art. And for me, it was important that the music matched what's going on in the story at all times. I felt that just because there's an instrumental section, that doesn't mean that I get to do whatever I want with it. And the music has to serve the story. And if the music at any point derails from the current emotion, there has to be a motive behind it, like foreshadowing or a change of perspective. For example, some of the Egyptian themes on the song Invitation doesn't necessarily mirror the main character's emotion, but foreshadows the origin of the lullaby that we're introducing later. But there are a few other good examples of what I wanted to do with the music on the album. For example, the bittersweet Scent of a Rose, which dwells in both fond but painful memories. The instrumental section of Past Remorse, which portrays the dreamer getting a call regarding the accident, racing his way to the hospital, finding his wife unconscious by the hospital bed, being by her side as she passes away. We hear the shock, we hear the heartbreak, followed by anger and self-blame. And all of these emotions are portrayed only by music and a very few sound effects in the background. Other songs like An Ancient Tale have Egyptian themes, obviously painting the location of that specific episode in the story. Other examples include the extended Wild and Crazy instrumental section in The Dreamer's Escape, to put the listener in the mindset of the dreamer who is running around in panic, trying to find a way out of this nightmare with no idea of where to go or what to do as the darkness consumes the world he's in, and so on and so forth. In every song, this film music way of thinking was applied, which was very important to me but also difficult, because progressive music comes with the permission to have a fun and just go wherever you want, and I didn't want to lose that fun while composing in this new way, so it was all about trying to find a good balance. When it comes to the story, we put the same amount of effort into that. Originally the story was just about a man who gets trapped in a dream and about a magic melody that gets him there. But we then came up with the idea about his passed away wife, and that what the dream world does is portray a world that is according to his desires. We also came up with the idea that the reason the dream world works and feels real is because the action he does within the dream are also made in reality at the same time. So we had the general story arc down. A man living a troubled life, haunted by his past, who finds escape within a magic melody where he gets to reunite with his past, to the point where it gets addicting and he gets stuck in the dream, learning his lessons when it's already too late to go back. Then we started thinking about, like, how does he find this melody, and where does this melody even come from? What is the reason that he would receive this melody in the first place? And originally, the illusionist, the character who gives the dreamer the melody, was like the villain of the story, who would give the dreamer the lullaby, fully aware of what would probably happen. But we couldn't come up with a good motive for that, so we came up with a different backstory for the illusionist in order to justify these events. And the more we did this, the more we started to care about the characters, the more personality they got, and so we thought about the story a lot to make sure that there would be no plot holes, that every character would have a motive, that they would be justified in their actions, but also that they would be important for the story to even work in the first place. We knew, however, that we would not be able to fit in every detail into the album. It would simply either take up too much time than it already does, or we would have too much dialogue going on, which would just take away from the music. So we decided to focus the songs around the most important events, and then discreetly work in some of the details within these songs. As for the deeper details, like the character motivations and the reveal of the twist at the end, we would put this information on our website, where we have created a page detailing the story of the album for anybody who wants to dig deep.
The lyrics would once again be divided between me and Luca, although Nico did his first lyrical contribution to Seventh Dimension with the song When Liberty Calls.
Landing at a running time of 2 hours and 5 minutes, we knew the album was a big risk. In the modern age we live in today, consuming a 2-hour long album is an exhausting task for most, especially when it is an album released by an independent band. We were able to find a few voice actors within our circle of friends who made great contributions to the album. Most importantly, we got Linda Lundberg on board to portray Rose in both dialogue and singing, which was a blessing for the album. We knew Linda from having performed along with her band Since Ever several times before. And she was just perfect for the role. The album cost a lot for us to make. It was a lot of music to produce and a lot of music to get mixed, among other things. And we also decided that it was time that we stepped up the artwork. So we hired a company called All 4 Band who did the astonishing artwork for the Corrupted Lullaby. It was definitely a step up from our previous album covers, which helped showing that this was something different. And we realized that if we go all in on the music, then every other element must match that quality. But because the album cost so much, we initially considered only to release it digitally, partly to avoid additional big costs, but also because we didn't want to print something that would look cheap if we couldn't afford something really good. But having a physical copy of our album was important. We are old school in that sense, and that we get a lot of satisfaction from holding our music in our hands and presenting it as a piece of art. So we started a Kickstarter campaign to fundraise the printing of the album, and within a week we reached and surpassed the goal. So thanks to our fans, we were fortunately able to print a beautiful double CD digipack of the album, and I'm very happy that we did that. Our dream album was now in our hands, and it was finally time to release it to the world.